Hey guys, Techify, and today I've got a nice short quick mouse comparison for you guys between the Razer Viper Mini and the Razer DeathAdder V2 Mini. Two small Razer mice, and I'm going to try and help you guys find which one you should buy. So guys, let's get into this. So these mice are very similar. In fact, apart from the shape, they're basically identical. So that means I can make this video short and quick, and I recommend highly that you go watch the individual reviews of these two mice. Maybe watch the DeathAdder V2 Mini, as that's a more up-to-date video. But to put it really quickly, they both have the same cable, same feet, same switches and everything, which are pretty decent considering the price point. These mice you can pick up, they retail officially at about $40, but often you can pick them up at $30 and on sale even $25, which is a great deal for either one of these mice. The real thing is you need to decide which shape is going to be best for you. Ultimately, that's hard to decide without trying them, so I'm going to do my best to help you. The only thing to consider is the sensor is not great on either of these mice. Performance and accuracy wise it's fine, but the lift off distance is a little bit high. So depending on how you grip your mouse and how high you lift off, that could be really annoying. It wasn't horrendous, but it did bother me a little bit. Some firmware updates have supposedly improved it. I personally didn't find it did on my Viper Mini. It's a little bit higher for me, still sitting at about 7 or 8 playing cards, and that's the same on the DeathAdder as well. It goes without saying that these are both the mini versions, therefore if you have particularly big hands, then I wouldn't go for either of these mice. I consider my hands to be pretty small at about 17cm by 8.5cm, and both these mice are in my size range, but I do like a small mouse. If you've got big hands and you're a palm user, then go for a full-size DeathAdder. The DeathAdder V2 Mini is going to be a little bit small. And just in general, if you have really big hands, neither of these mice are going to be great. They are very small. Specifically, the Viper Mini is 118mm long, whereas the DeathAdder V2 Mini is a bit shorter at 114mm. Width-wise, the DeathAdder V2 Mini is a bit wider. It's 65mm at the back, 56 at the grip. On the other hand, the Viper Mini is 53.5mm wide at the grip. Height-wise, they're both about 38.5mm tall. But if your hands aren't massive, which one should you get? Well, if you're a palm user, you're most likely going to like the ergonomic shape of the DeathAdder V2 Mini. That being said, it's quite small. Even for medium hands, I'd maybe look at a slightly bigger ergonomic mouse or the full-size DeathAdder. You've really got to have very small hands to palm the DeathAdder V2 Mini. In most cases, actually, most people are going to prefer the Viper Mini. If you're a fingertip user, this is a no-brainer. Most people are going to prefer the semi-ambidextrous symmetrical shape of the Viper Mini for fingertip grip. And for claw users, I personally prefer the Viper Mini as well. That being said, there are some people who will prefer the DeathAdder V2 Mini for claw. If you've had a mouse before and you know whether you like a symmetrical shape or an ergonomic shape, then that's definitely a big fact to consider. I just felt the DeathAdder V2 Mini was a little bit too thin. I didn't really have anywhere to put my little finger, it just felt a little bit off. If you've got even smaller hands, then clawing this may be more comfortable, or if you do it slightly different. Maybe as well if you do a 1-3-1 grip, how I used to grip my mice, which means you're only going to have one finger on the right hand side, then it might be more comfortable for you. Most people are going to prefer the Viper Mini for claw grip. As I said though, you're going to be able to get a much nicer, more solid grip and have much more control over the mouse, so I think most people will prefer that. Both of these are obviously super light at 61 grams. As I've said many times, they are basically the same mouse. Hopefully that's been a helpful guide. I don't really have much more to say or add, since these mice are basically identical from everything from the lighting to the price point to the scroll wheel. There's really hardly any difference in between them, so go check out the full reviews of these two videos. If you want to look as cool as me, and I know you do, you can get yourself some merch at techify.co.uk/merch. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.